Hello and welcome to another episode of Top3Tech. I'm your host, Jerry Ruiz. And if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you bought the 4080, and congratulations on buying your PNY GeForce RTX 4080 Accelerate Gaming VERTO Epic X RGB. I think that's what it's called. So don't quote me exactly on that, but something like that. But you're probably trying to figure out how to install the bracket that comes in there for the GPU holder. So follow along as I go ahead and describe the process on how to do that, and hopefully we can get that installed on your GPU and motherboard. Before you get started, you're going to make sure that you have a screwdriver. These 3 screws that are in this goodie bag, which I had to empty out real quick. These little goodie bags. And this little washer that goes on top of the screw. This thing, it looks like it mounts on the screw, and you screw in the, what is this, the M3 or the 6 number 32, just to tighten it on there. Depending on your motherboard, you're either going to use the M3 or the 632. So depending how, whatever you mount your motherboard in, it determines on which one you're going to use to mount that bracket in. And then of course, this bracket is what goes onto the motherboard, and this is what's going to hold the GPU up. And then this soft side right here is what's going to be mounted underneath the GPU so it doesn't scratch it up. Okay, so just like I figured, the instructions were wrong. I know, you guys are going to say, what a waste. So I'll make this part skippable, or I'll put in the description, skip this part. But look, it's the middle screws that it wants you to unscrew. So I did that, but this runs into the fan in the middle. Look, and I can't really spin it. And I ain't gonna turn it on to see if it spins, because, sorry. It doesn't want to spin all the way because the holder is right there, right in the middle. So I'm gonna scoot this over to the right and go ahead and see if that works a little better. It looks like it will because the fan won't be in the way. Okay, so you either skipped to this part of the video, or you've been watching the whole process with me. You would know that the instructions were wrong. It had told me to remove these 2 screws, this bottom middle one and this middle one, but it was running into the GPU fan, so I had to remove this far right middle one and this bottom right right one. So sorry about that. Now I'm all messed up and confused, but it's okay. This is why you guys watch it with me, so I can learn, you guys can learn. I'm gonna have to repeat my steps, so if you already watched this, sorry, you're gonna hear me explain it again. You're gonna grab the mounting screws for the bracket. It's either the M3 or the number 632. Mine is the thinner ones, not the thicker ones. But depending on your PC case or your motherboard, no, I think it's PC case. Depending on your PC case, you're gonna have to use whichever screws fit in there. And after you put it in and tighten it with your finger, you're gonna put this on top and tighten the rest of the screwdriver. There's just a little cap. Helps you tighten that on there. That way there's no issues. So we'll do that with the bottom one. And then we're going to do it with the top one as well. So bottom one's in. And then the same one. Remember I said I got the thinner one. If you have the thicker one, go ahead and use that, whichever fits in your case. I'm going to tighten it with my fingers a little bit. See, that one's a little harder to reach spot because it's by the 24 pin. This is gonna be interesting for sure. Oh, guess I might just have to do the strict cap on this one because I can't get my fingers in there. I mean, I guess I could always remove that USB wire that's right there and it'll probably be easier, but screw it, science. So put that cap on top. Guided it with my hand, screwing it in. Just make sure it's tightened. Bam. See? There you go. So the next step is grab the metal bracket that is going to hold the slider that mounts onto your GPU. This space right here is going to be the bottom, towards the bottom of your case. This side doesn't have a space. So where those top holes were, this bottom one right here, and that top one right there, it fits in perfectly. Those 3 screws that came in that bag, go ahead, grab those. Grab your washer. Grab this the GPU holder. We're gonna put these to the side, the GPU holder, this washer, this one screw. Keep it close, but put it to the side, and we're gonna be using these 2 to screw in that bracket holder right there. So you're not gonna want to tighten them all the way just yet, but do the bottom one first in my case, just because it's easier to access. And then don't tighten it all the way just yet, just that way in case you need to adjust that metal bracket. So there's one. And then this top one right here pushes down. So like I said previously, I had installed it more towards the center, but it ran into the GPU fan. So I'm not sure these instructions come in all PNYs or in the lower tier, but it was wrong with this GPU. But anyways, screw in those 2. Sorry, the washer fell off on the last one, so to make this easier for me while recording this, I'm going to put this lined up with the third hole pretty much on top. I don't know, can you guys see that? Is the GPU blocking? Okay, let me turn on the flash, see if you guys can get a little bit better. So I went ahead and lined it up with that third hole right here. We're gonna go ahead and mount that screw. And I'm not gonna tighten it all the way just yet, but good enough to where, okay. So it's there, it's a little snug. Alright, let me loosen it just a teeny bit. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna push the GPU up so that way it's not sagging. So look up. We're gonna slide this bracket a little up to where it's holding it from sagging. And then we'll tighten it. So pushing it from the bottom. Tightening this. Alright. Well, let's stand it up and see if that worked out pretty nicely. So looking at the case, it's actually on there pretty good. I can't push it up anymore. It looks pretty even. I know it looks a little crooked on here, is because the PC case kind of slants, but it's on there pretty good. You can see right here, I had pushed the GPU up and had pushed this up as well. In case you didn't see clearly, from this angle you could see pretty nice. And the next step is going to be to screwing in the mounting screws that are on the PCIe bracket, right there on the left of your GPU. So go ahead and screw that in place. I have about 3 I need for this GPU just because it's so huge. And then you're going to want to go ahead and screw in all the wires for your GPU. In the last mounting GPU mounting bracket I had, someone said it'd be better if I said which wires to plug in, and since every GPU is different, you might not be just installing the PNY Accelerate. So if you have the PNY Accelerate for the 4080, go ahead and plug in your 3 PCIe cables, PCIe 8 cables into the dongle, the 12VH PWR, and then plug in your 12VH power into there. Make sure it clicks, because if it doesn't click, it might burn. I only think the 4090s have that issue, but whatever GPU you're using, plug in how many PCIe 8s go into there or how many dongles. Make sure to plug in your HDMI, or this only has 1 HDMI, and your display ports, it has 3, or whatever your GPU has. Make sure you plug in your cable for your power that goes into your PSU. And if your GPU has the 3-pin 5V ARGB, plug that in as well. So just plug in all your wires, is easier to say. But sorry, that's I guess I'm being a little petty. But that's why I say just plug in all your wires. But either way, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the outro. You guys are awesome. And hopefully, if you have any questions, let me know below. And this, like I said, this fan, it's not impeding. So that's nice. But if you have any solutions to that middle, go ahead and answer it down below. It's kind of weird that the instructions told me to put it on that middle section, but it's the far right. So I'm kind of glad I did this. So if you guys run into that issue, you can fix it as well. But I'll catch you guys later.